Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
Shall we? Fucking go.
Shall we?
May we? Must we? Can we?
I don't know that there's anyone that we even need to ask.
Right.
Ask permission from.
That's true. I guess we are the harbingers of our own destiny. So.
That's true. So yeah, fuck it. Let's go.
Let's fucking go.
We're in it, we're here. Let's go.
Yes. But we're here. We're thriving. We exist in a context long before us.
Yes. We are here. Everyone, just take a seat. We're here. There's a lot for us to cover today that's painful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Episode-wise. So enjoy, as always, these happy things, but get comfortable, is what I'll say.
Yeah. We're gonna get into some territory here, but now we can be fun. We can have fun, a little fun. You know?
Right, we gotta ease you into it.
Yeah.
Ease you into the pain a little bit. That's all.
Yeah.
Welcome into the Twilight. We're gonna ease you into the suffering.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm here.
Do you feel older?
Yes, I am older. Welcome, everyone, to my my 27 club year. We're here.
You've made it.
I have made it. Against all odds, I've made it. I would like to talk about a show. Surprise, surprise. But also,
yes.
I more just want to talk about a man.
Okay.
My love, Julio Torres.
Okay. Let's do it.
He's wonderful. If you're not familiar, he has my favorite stand-up special of all time, where he just points out really his favorite shapes, and he just like goes on a conveyor belt and is like, this one's really cool, and it's the best fucking hour of comedy it's ever existed.
Amazing.
And he also recently came out with a movie with Tilda Swinton that's on HBO. It's great. But now he also is, I think it just finished, but it's like a short, like 6-episode kind of continuation of his whole deal, called Fantasmas, and it's fucking everything. It's so good. It's very like surreal comedy, very like talking about the internet and also like immigrating to America, or like wanting to be like having weird thoughts of being like, ooh, I have just all these ideas for toys or ways that the world should work differently, and it's like the most charming but real shit, and it's visually incredible. Like, every episode is only like 30 minutes, but I feel like I've been watching like a whole movie. Like, it's so immersive and wonderful. And it's incredibly funny. It's very gay. It's a lot of things. The cast also is wild, because it's kind of like very recurring motifs and stuff. Like, there's this general through line, but there's also all these little like asides and things. So it's like Emma Stone is there for a second, like Natasha Lyonne is there for a second, Julia Fox is playing Mrs. Claus because Santa and Mrs. Claus are getting sued by elves for workplace discrimination and abuse. Paul Dano is there in like a fake sitcom thing. It's like so weird and wonderful, and his whole like oeuvre of stuff is this vein. So if you've liked any of those previous things, you will like this, obviously. But also, they're all, like, thematically... Oh, and also Los Spookies, obviously, relevant to the whole vibe that we do here. But he's fucking great. The show is wonderful. I'm very into everything. And I wish it was 800 episodes instead of 6, but hey.
I love it. Everything that you've just said sounds very up my alley.
Yeah, and there's, like, a lot of, like, little, like, creative things of, like, little... Not even, like, puppets, but, like, you know, like, claymation. Not claymation in its form, but, like...
Hey.
No, I know. Like, not... I was gonna say, like, not exactly in that way. But there's, like, little characters. Like, the way he, personifies objects and things is very funny and very good. And there's like a lot of wonderful transitions, and it feels like a real fucking TV show. Like, it's been so long something feels like, oh yes, this is like a vision, and this is something that just someone is trying to expulge out of them very meticulously, and it's fucking sick.
It sounds like from what you've shared that it's not just this, but like multiple specials.
Yeah, so there's one stand-up special, which is a delight, called My Favorite Shapes, and then there's Problemista, which is a movie, and then now it's the show, and then also he did Los Spookies, or was in Los Spookies.
Damn,
so
okay.
he's like, this is his year, baby. He's doing it. I've been a ride or die for a long time, and I'm fucking stoked because everything's coming up. Julio Torres, more weirdo gays with just so many thoughts in their head. just throw it out at you. I'm into it. I love it.
Thank you, Julio Torres, for your service.
God, yes. How are you doing? I see you also have a beautiful man.
Listen, I'm also talking about beautiful gay men, just more on the opposite spectrum. We're on the same spectrum. I'm just going on the opposite ends of it. So I'm doing well. It's still warm here. Less hot than it was last week, but still nasty warm.
Yeah, not ideal.
Than I would prefer. Not ideal. I'm persisting. So listen, there's been some discourse.
Sure.
Around this trailer.
Yeah.
But I'm bringing it to space because fuck y'all. Fuck all of your racism about it. Guised as music critique. I'm bringing the trailer of Gladiator II.
Fuck yes. Boys are so back. Boys are back.
I'm gonna preface this by saying that I'm not a Ridley Scott stan.
Sure.
Like I don't know this man per se.
Sure.
That's not why I was like, oh hell yeah, Gladiator 2.
Right.
I am unfortunately I have a lot of Mars in my chart. So you give me a Roman a Roman movie and I am locked the fuck in.
So locked in.
So, and then you give me this cast. Hello? And I literally say less.
Yeah, they got your fucking number on this one, for sure.
They've been plotting. They said how me and Bobby have just been fanning over this movie all week, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But I didn't need any more than this trailer. I've been in love with Denzel Washington my entire life.
Yeah.
That man has been hot longer than I have been alive.
It's truly, like, incredible.
And you put that man in gold, specifically, like, if we're thinking about, like, this time period, right? You put him in gold and blue, and it's, like, in an earring, and it's, like,
yeah, the earring
howling.
really is...
I'm scratching at the walls.
Yeah, I'm barking, for sure.
And I was already sat waiting, right? But then it's like, you look at this cast, and it's like Pedro Pascal, hello. Joseph Quinn, who I love.
Yeah. That's
the love of my life. Here's the thing, okay? I didn't know why a lot of y'all were talking about Paul Mescal. I didn't understand it. I tried to watch Normal People.
Yeah.
I didn't get it.
Yeah.
So I was like, I only know Paul Mescal because of, like, music drama.
Sure. Yeah.
But then I watched this trailer and I said, oh, honey, you have the face for this time period.
Yeah, I agree. This was the first time I got it. I got him, too. Of like, okay, I see what...
You just weren't supposed to be cast in the present time.
Right. You need your,
That's what
like,
it was.
shins to be exposed because you're wearing a little gladiator-type skirt, you know?
You need to be in leather.
Yeah, right. You need to be... he's got the perfect face for... and rugged thing. Being like, this is the vibe. Like, I get it, for sure.
Exactly. And now I understand. Now I get it.
Yeah.
So... Listen, when I first watched it, was I startled by the needle drop?
Mm-mm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do I think it's wrong? No.
Right.
No.
I think it's brave and
No,
true.
I don't.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the people have been like, well, I don't understand. Why would you put rap in this trailer? Well, first of all, fuckwads. Hey, why are they speaking English?
Right.
If you're going to go that way, why aren't they speaking Latin? Why aren't they speaking Latin?
We could do this all day, y'all.
Let me just watch Hot Men, okay?
Let me have this.
Let me just watch Hot Men and rhinos and fill the Coliseum with water like we've all wanted since 7th grade, okay?
God.
Shut up.
Yeah. Need it so good.
Just listen. Shut up.
Yeah.
If y'all are gonna get like 1,000 Marvel movies,
Right.
okay, literally sponsored by the government,
Right.
let me watch Denzel and beautiful hot men
Yeah.
pretend to fight and it be gay,
Right.
because that's what Rome is. That's
Right.
historical.
Yeah. That's accurate. Excuse me for having a little whimsy, wanting a little fun and flavor. Jeez.
Correct. It is a lot easier for me personally to watch any type of like a movie that has violence in it
Yeah.
if it's like hand-to-hand combat
Yeah.
versus something like a Marvel where it's all like guns and tanks and stuff.
Yeah, totally. Because this feels like
And
it's
it-
personal, you know? It's not like, okay, we have to
It
fight
is.
big bad guy. It's like, this is history. This is lore. This is,
Right.
guys in short shorts, I'm in.
It's guys in short shorts. Just let me live my life, okay?
Right.
Everyone shut up.
Let me have this.
They're all hot. They're all hot, and they get to be beautiful and play pretend.
Yeah.
And in theory, I haven't done a full deep dive on this movie, but I don't think that it's sponsored by the military.
Right. So, seems pretty decent.
So shut up. Okay? And stop disliking the trailer on YouTube
Yeah.
because you don't like seeing Denzel Washington be hot. Okay? Why don't you go watch him in Shakespeare and understand?
Right.
Go learn your history.
Yeah, skill issue. Grow up.
It's embarrassing that you don't understand that he's been hot longer than most of you have been alive, myself included.
Right. God.
Respect your elders. I need to scroll past this, otherwise I'm going to be staring at him the entire time, and it's honestly, like, fucked up. He's so beautiful. Put that man in royal blue more often. Thank
God,
you.
yeah.
It's honestly for the best that we don't have current events this week, because this episode has so much to talk
There's
about.
so much going on.
It felt like a 90-minute episode.
Yeah, it felt like a whole ass movie.
They really love to be like, let's set something at a dance and then make everything else about anything but the dance.
Right.
So last week was an incredibly painful episode. Know thy enemy.
Yeah.
We got Isabel rip. So that sucks. Klaus came back in the form of Rick, which is very important.
Yeah.
That they did in the previously on.
Welcome back, Klaus.
Welcome back. They talked about Elijah in the previously on a lot.
Yeah.
And that Matt and Liz are working together. I slept on this.
Yeah.
AKA it's been a week. And this is where an audience member's knowledge and the character's knowledge is separated a lot. I forgot that Liz was compelled to forget everything.
Yeah. That totally threw me for a loop, too. Because I was like, wait, didn't they have that whole, conversation that was very painful? And then I was like, oh, fuck, that's right. She was compelled to not remember anymore. And so now she's back on this fucking goose chase for vampires and selling out her own daughter. And it's like, homie, you don't even know. You had this conversation already. You weren't the best at it, for sure. But now you're just doing this in a worse way. That sucks.
Yeah, so she's feeling, like, betrayed.
Right.
And it's like, girl, you asked.
Right, yeah, you asked for this, so...
You asked to not know.
And now Matt's walking around pretending he was compelled and being, like, selling fucking Caroline out. It's like, can she just get a fucking ride or die out here? Jesus Christ. You know? I'm sick of it.
It was very painful and almost a little too on the nose, writers.
Yeah.
To have Miss Ma'am dress as Jackie O.
Oh my
for
god.
most of this episode while this betrayal was happening.
Yeah. So shady.
And I'm not going to say that Caroline didn't kill it. She looked beautiful in it. But it just felt a little too on the nose. Yeah. Which is rude. Oh, god. So, hate that. But yeah, Matt is not doing well lying.
No. No.
Which just sucks.
Yeah, like, you're trying, babe, but I don't know how long we can keep this active.
Hate that.
My guy.
What stood out to you most this episode?
Was
there anything that, like, surprised you?
I don't know. Well, I'm not surprised at this because Stefan and Damon are bad at their jobs and protecting others. But I think it's incredibly funny that they had this genius plan to give Elena the deed and the title to the house, and then immediately, within seconds, let Rick in, now possessed by Klaus. Good job, guys. We're doing so good.
That,
you know,
I found really confusing. I had to go back and watch that part because no one acknowledged or said come in to him.
Right, and they made a whole big song and dance about both Stefan and Damon. And Damon was very cute and funny because Elena was like, "Are you going to be good?" And he's like, "Fuck no." Absolutely not. And she's like, "All right, fucker, get in here." But there was none of that. I guess that's, like, you can't even, like, it can't even be implied, though, because, like, they were already in the living room chatting about, like, their plan or whatever.
Correct.
And Rick just fucking strolls on in. It's like, who? And I guess maybe it's because Klaus, and also that's another thing, too. It's like, if Klaus is in Rick's body, I guess only Rick...
Yeah, he's supposedly in a human's body.
Right. Is that different? Like, does that work? Or it's like, just as his brain and actual being, not in the physical sense, just negate? Like, does it just cancel out? I don't really know. I'm confused.
The other thing that they didn't think about was, and I guess we'll find out in next episode, right? But, like, Elijah was in the basement.
Yes.
Does he just get grandfathered in?
Yeah, it's like he was here. You know, he's got the rent control on there. You know what I mean? Like, he's locked and loaded.
Yeah,
I guess he could just vibe
just like,
there.
Since he's in here and Elena signed the deed, is he just like fine? Or did they, because they're Damon and Stefan, they just didn't think about it because they're assuming he's going to stay dead forever. Right.
That'd be so funny, though, if Elena was, like, signing her little paper, like, Death Note style, and it was like, actually, I don't want Elias to be in here, and he just, like, turns to dust. Just in the basement, like, poof. Like, I don't know how this works, because it's very inconsistent with the lore here, so I'm a little confused.
Right.
Also, there was something else about that interaction that was interesting.
Because I wasn't worried about Bonnie in that moment.
Right.
Because, again, this is all supposed to be about vampires.
Yes, right.
But I fully thought the first time I watched it, I had assumed that Damon had, like, made eyes at Klaus, in quotation marks, and that's why he crossed the threshold. Nope. Homeboy just walked in,
Just strolled on in. And it's like, listen, I know at this point, no one has any reason to truly distrust Rick in this moment, right? Like, he's been fine and helpful and, like, working with people, and so, like, it makes sense. But also, within those seconds, they're like, well, Klaus could be anyone or anything, and we should be really careful. And so I get that Rick is trustworthy in this moment, but also, if you don't know how originals work, especially the original, Nobody knows jack shit.
Correct.
And so the fact that, like, could be anyone. Anyway, hey, Rick, come on in. Let's talk about our secret plans that nobody knows. And tell you all of our little tiny secrets. Y'all, I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. I'm just frustrated.
I was disappointed, honestly, the most in Bonnie.
Yeah.
In that, because
she was spilling the beans.
It was very obvious.
Yeah.
She did. She spilled the beans. It was very obvious as a viewer in that moment that Klaus was making eyes at Bonnie.
Yeah.
And so for her, for Bonnie to just knock the shit out of Damon in that moment, I was like, Bonnie.
Right. That is your trump card.
Why is Rick acting weird?
Right. That is the one thing you have that is, like, proprietary, that can actually do something here. Maybe not show all of your cards right now. Like, let's be...
And she still had one card she didn't show off.
Right, that's true.
But still.
Yeah. But goddamn. I also love
just cutting it a little close.
Yeah, we're getting a little too close for comfort here, my dudes. I did also appreciate Klaus inside Rick's body and being like, this guy's fashion taste fucking sucks.
I loved the Rick's actor this week.
Yeah, this was the most charming I've seen him. Like, he was fun to watch.
Matthew Davis was at his peak.
He tore.
This week.
Yeah, he did great. He was just goofing and gaffing, and he was like, uh-oh, I have to teach a history class right and being like, man, the 60s, pretty stinky decade, huh? Huh? Y'all got opinions about that? Y'all want to talk amongst yourselves?
And him just naming off Watergate killed me.
Famously the 60s, we all know and love, for sure.
That is every parent thinking that they can teach.
Literally.
And, like, do a teacher's job.
Literally, yeah. It's like, what's the deal with Watergate? Am I right, fellas?
I was fully expecting him to sit backwards in a chair and be like, so what's up with the 60s, huh?
What if he just does, like, a youth pastor bit? And it's just like...
You know who wouldn't have left you behind in the 60s?
The Lord. JC.
The Lord.
My man.
No, but for real, though, Matthew Davis killed it this week because there were so many moments that should not have been funny, right?
Yeah.
Because Klaus is terrifying. Mm-hmm. But they were. The moment where Klaus is obviously, like, at least a head taller than everyone on the dance floor.
Yeah.
And he's just, like, bopping along, trying to be like, hey, do y'all want some extra credit? Do y'all want to go kick the shit out of the love of my life, Jeremy? Cool. Come with me.
Yeah.
I loved him so much.
That whole dance sequence, it was very short but very important to me, of both Rick but also Damon just, like, pumping his fist in the air. It was, like, literally shot by shot, frame by frame, that one dance scene in Call Me By Your Name where he who must not be named, fuck that guy, is, like, super into it and feels like the most bliss he's ever felt in his entire life because he's free, right? Like, and it's just ready to roll. That was Damon in that moment of being like, fuck yeah, this is my people, this is my time, I'm here to fucking party right now.
Damon went and found every one of his friends, stole their woman, and was like, can I dance with them?
Right.
We cut away for 2 seconds, come back, and Damon has found the only group of cool black girls in this school.
Yeah.
And he is full on dancing and vibing with them.
Yeah, to I think we're alone now. And it's like, this is bliss. This is Damon's peak form. He should just be, he's a party girl. He's 365 party girl. You know what I mean? He needs to have a Brad Summer.
Again, Damon does not go to the school. No. He is an adult man.
He's just hanging around, you know?
Right. He is a council member, so theoretically a chaperone here, though we don't know that for sure.
Yeah.
But he is just full on the dance floor, having a great time.
Yeah.
And then got interrupted to have to go do business.
Yeah.
And that's a shame, because Damon was having fun.
Right. He just wants to dance, okay? He's a sad, sad man.
He's just a dancing queen.
He needs to let loose.
Keep doing business.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Oh, God.
It looked like the most fun of their dances. And they referenced the one last year, the, like, Halloween one.
True, yeah.
This one looked far more enjoyable.
Oh, yeah.
Personally. I I will say Klaus has lived up to his terrifying reputation to me.
Yeah, for sure.
And I didn't need him to. Like, he was already very scary in my mind. But starting off this episode with him compelling Catherine to torture herself was so Jigsaw-esque.
Yeah, it was nasty.
I hated it. I hated it a lot.
Also, like, his move of, like, compelling students to drop little Easter eggs was, like, chills on my spine. Are you kidding? Because, like, there's this one moment in the cafeteria where Bonnie and Elena are, like, talking shit, you know, having lunch, living life, and this other girl comes in. It's like, oh my god, someone really wants to ask you on the date, and he's, like, to the dance, and he's, like, super cute and super hot. And his name is Klaus. Like, it's a weird name, but he's, like, really cute, and he, like, wants to save the last dance for you. And fucking both of them, jaws on the floor, like, the scariest shit that's ever happened. It's like, ooh, he's everywhere, you know? Ooh, hate it.
Because compulsion's already terrifying enough.
Yeah.
But the idea that Elena had just said a few moments before, that the only reason why I'm leaving this now safe house is because staying next to Bonnie is safe.
Yeah.
And so why would Klaus come to the school? And then that's exactly what he does, because they don't know he's Rick.
Right.
It's such a violation. Ugh. Yeah. I hate it. It's a great move, but I hate it.
It's nasty work. Nasty.
Ugh. I don't like it. I think this was also the first time that we've seen Alaric's apartment.
True, yeah. And his sweet gun stash.
And it was very telling.
Yeah.
Just a very... I think it felt a lot like Isabel's office to me, which I felt like was a very interesting touch, and I liked it a lot. I'm glad that they went in that route.
Yeah, for sure.
How did you feel? How did you feel about Bonnie and Jeremy?
God, fuck. I hate it. I mean, I love it, but I hate it.
I hate
it because they make me sad. And Jeremy cares about her a lot. And it's fucked up because both Elena and Bonnie are kind of doing this, like, solo death mission, right? Against each other, not really noticing it. And, like, or at least Elena doesn't know until later. That's what's happening. Because Jeremy, this whole time, for weeks now, has been like, hey girl, I love you, but if you do that too much, or if you do it at, like, a big scale, like enough to kill an original vampire, you die. So how about we don't do that? How about we think of, like, any other plan? Let's workshop, because again, I love you. You shouldn't have to die for Elena. And surely we can work something out here. And Bonnie's very steadfast, being like, hey, you know, I gotta do it. I have the power inside of me. It's what I'm put here to do.
Also, don't tell anyone that.
Right, yes. And also, like, this is a secret, and, like, no one should know this, and, like, this is my secret weapon that I'm keeping close to my chest. And, like, this seems like the only option. Very similar to how Elena's like, this is the only option, to sacrifice myself, you know? It's like, y'all, can we figure something out? Put our heads together. Goddamn.
Can anyone communicate with each other, please?
No, it's impossible. And of course, thank God, Jeremy is like, I need to spill these beans, I'm so sorry. Like, we cannot let you do this. That's crazy.
Right.
And then Elena and Bonnie have this, like, really sad conversation where Bonnie's like, hey, you know, if you can just look me in the eyes and tell me that you wouldn't do the exact same for me, then I won't do it, kind of vibe. Like, I'll hold off, you know? And Elena can't.
Right.
Because she would. Which fucking... I also don't think that's true, because none of y'all fight for Bonnie the way she bats for all of y'all, even though you're not worth it.
Exactly.
Literally not worth it. Like, would anyone genuinely put her life on the line like she is attempting to do in this moment for her? Besides Jeremy? Unlikely. Maybe Caroline.
Doubt it.
You know? But, like, y'all are fake as fuck. I see right through you. Okay? Get out of here.
That moment, too, where Bonnie is like, I have to do this.
Yeah.
Like, you know I have to do this.
Right.
Killed me.
Yeah.
Because Bonnie loves so deeply.
Mm-hmm.
And I love her. But I wish that she would stop dying for other people.
Right. Like, girl, get up. Know your worth. Respect yourself more, because these fucking people are not your friends. They do not care about you. They do not go to bat for you like you do for them. Ever. Point blank.
No. That moment hurt so badly, though, because Jeremy trying to give Bonnie his ring,
Mm-hmm.
and her trying to make light of the moment and being like, boy, we're already steady. But realizing, like, Jeremy doesn't realize that that ring,
Yeah.
TM, doesn't work on witches.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm just trying. And he even references, right? Like, I don't have the best luck in the girlfriend department.
Which, like, fair.
Which I'm glad for you for recognizing.
Yeah, self-read, love it.
Love that. But that part, like, that was already a painful moment in and of itself. But I just want to give the blocking in this moment a big fuck you, because Bonnie hugs Jeremy in this moment. And she's looking at Damon. And then she says Damon's name.
Yeah.
And that is just so painful to me personally.
Mm-hmm. Sick and twisted.
Because why are we doing this?
God. I hate it here. I hate it here so bad.
And he even, Bonnie and Damon even talk later on, where he's like, girl. She tells him, I think, in a moment when they're dancing, she's like, careful, Damon, I might start to think that you care.
Ooh. Ooh.
There's a moment in the dance that I feel like is very telling, and we haven't had this in a while, where both Jeremy and Elena are sulking at the punch bowl.
Yeah. And
that, to me, is very indicative. Like, that is the Gilberts in a nutshell.
Oh, yeah.
Like, everyone else is having fun at this dance, and these two emo kids, even though we know now that they're not, like, biologically related.
Sure.
These two siblings are just sulking at the punch bowl together. I love them so much.
God. Yeah.
Here's the thing that I need to know.
Mm-hmm.
There are obviously no neurodivergent people at this school.
Sure.
Because I can hear, even without the sound of the car turning on, I can hear the high-pitched frequency of my neighbor's car turning on. Which means that I know if I was at that dance, I would be able to hear those fluorescent lights.
Oh, yeah.
Freaking out, even without the sound of them, like, breaking.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me why there was not a neurodivergent person at that dance who maybe, you know, like, wasn't overstimulated.
Sure.
Right, that wanted to go. They weren't like, oh, God, there's something wrong with the fluorescence.
Mm-hmm.
Who was aware of what was going on and could point someone to the cafeteria.
God.
Because I know there was sound from what was happening.
Yeah.
But none of the other chaperones seemed to be like, hey, there's a massive sound somewhere near the cafeteria. Was it just on the other side of this school?
Right.
I have questions.
God.
I need to know. But this showdown between the two, at least potentially like the first showdown,
right,
between Bonnie and Klaus,
God,
was
brutal.
Very good.
Yeah. That, like, I'm glad they gave her that moment, because I was stressing, right? I was like, fuck, she cannot go out like this, because they are not worth it. I want her to survive, right? But they did give her, like, a beautiful...
And in go-go boots?
Yeah. Hello? she looked great. She was tearing it up over there, for sure. But they gave her this, like, very cinematic moment of, like, things are flying, like, she feels in command of her thing, but there's also, like, blood coming from, like, her face and her eyes and stuff, and she's, like, definitely tapping out a little bit. And Elena's, like, banging at the fucking door. Like, fuck. It's poetic, it's beautiful, it was well, like, executed. I was locked in.
It is. The moments leading up to that, too, I thought were really funny because, and again, this goes back to Matthew. Matthew and Nina's acting were really interesting this episode. There was a moment where Klaus says to Elena, "I'm not a Alaric." And in Nina's first reaction is just this, like, really strong brow furrow.
It's so good. Being like, wait a minute.
I just remember laughing really hard. Because it's just like, she knows that. She knows that Rick wouldn't do this.
Yeah, like, be for real. Be so for real.
But it doesn't, I don't think it clicks to Bonnie in this moment with Klaus. Like, you can't, even if you just killed this body, right? Because we don't really know, it is a type of possession, but not in the way that I would normally think of it. Like, even if you killed Rick in this moment, Klaus will just get a new body, and he threatens Jeremy in this moment, so Bonnie's like, oh, fuck.
Right. That's not the plan. Yeah.
And so watching Bonnie freaking out, Damon in this moment, I feel like his brain was working harder than it ever had in like 200 years.
Yeah.
And I felt like during that showdown with Klaus and Bonnie, there was a real moment of surprise where Klaus was like, "You'd kill your favorite history teacher." And she was like, "Girl, fuck you." Like,
yeah, right. Like,
yes, of course I will.
Just thinking of the entire, landscape here. Yeah, for sure. Like, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, especially because, like,
it's
and
like,
they
sorry
mentioned
you didn't
this a couple of times.
Pick a
like,
guy that
Rick
was the most charismatic.
Wouldn't. Right. Yeah, like, Rick would not want this right now. And we don't know the type of possession, if Rick's soul or whatever, like, his consciousness is still there. We don't know what type of possession this is.
Right.
But I knew, because I know Bonnie exists longer in this show, that when she dropped, she wasn't dead.
Yeah.
But if I had been watching this when it happened, I would have been freaking the fuck out in this moment.
Yeah, I was shaking in my boots, for sure. Even though I knew there was going to be a little fake out.
Yeah.
But fuck, it looked so real. It felt real.
It did. And I'm glad that they didn't say anything. Like, we found out later that there was a spell, and that at some point when Damon and Bonnie were dancing that they had shared that information. But it was so painful to see Elena, "This is my fault, Gilbert," having to be torn away from Bonnie.
Yep. God. Yeah, and especially Damon coming in being like, "We gotta clean this up." And she's like, "I am grieving my friend." I think is dead right now. And obviously gonna make that, like, fuck, it's all my fault type beat, which, fair, was just a lot.
Yeah. And Jeremy coming after Damon has literally put Bonnie's body in the trunk, this motherfucker, and being like, "Hey, dude, I couldn't find my sister or my girlfriend." And Damon just being like, "So we need to have a talk." But I feel like the last, like, 15 minutes of this episode, Ian's eyes, can we just get that motherfucker some brown contacts? I swear to God. His eyes were
I'm scared.
They turned the saturation up. It was so intimidating.
Yeah.
I hated it. How did you feel when Elena smacked the shit out of him, by the way?
This is so important. Are you kidding? I need that every episode. So bad.
She should do it every episode. He deserves it.
Yeah, almost without, probably multiple times an episode, if we're honest with ourselves.
Yeah. there are multiple times when he deserves it, absolutely. No, I love it. They're being able to see Elena, who's wearing Stefan's, I was going to say ancestors, but it's his descendants' clothes, by the way. Very weird. When Damon comes in to describe what Bonnie did, Damon, by the way, I don't mind being the bad guy, Salvatore, and getting that, like, B-roll of Bonnie coming back, I thought was very good. They haven't done this in a while, so I was startled when it happened. That My 5 product placement killed me.
Oh my god.
A lot.
Yeah. Just fully took me out.
Because we are not, to call it a home is very generous. We're in ruins.
Sure.
This is not a home. It's not even like foreclosed. This is just an abandoned 4 walls.
Yeah.
Where they are staying right now because it is safe for Bonnie, but Jeremy would rather stay there than stay with John in his home.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really indicative of how John is at this moment.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think is really... I love that. Another banger that I wrote down near the end of this episode was the confrontation between Damon and Stefan, where he was like, listen, I don't need to tell you shit. I wasn't going to tell you what happened with Bonnie anyways, but just keep in mind that when it comes to Elena, I'll be the one to keep her alive.
God, yeah.
And then he just, like, goes upstairs and, like, flips his hair.
These boys. I swear to God.
Which, by the way, I mean, Stefan got, like, a little pissy about that, but he was the one who asked Damon to, like, promise to keep Elena alive when he was in the tomb. So,
like, what do you
want from him?
Yeah, like, sorry, you're not really good. And both of you aren't, to be honest. But you need both of you to be maybe one sometimes competent human being, right? Like, you kind of can't really do it on your own here. So, like, why are we mad? Because both of you don't really do a great job at that all the time. And sometimes Damon does things for his own pleasure, right? But also, sometimes you're just gonna lie to get to the thing that makes the most sense, even if people don't understand it at first. So, fucking chill, okay?
I don't know that Elena and Damon have been in Damon's bedroom alone before this episode at the end.
God, it was riveting though. Fuck.
There was a lot of tension.
Yeah. I mean, him being like,
I know that
I will always choose you. Fuck. Out of here.
That, if people did not ship them before.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how you wouldn't, right?
Sure.
But you gotta.
Right.
You gotta at this point. My question, what I'm not sure of, what Elena's motive is why is she bringing back Elijah? What is her plan?
Right.
And I get it, because I'm interested, and I think Elijah's pretty to look at.
Right, yeah. Just because he's really cute.
But I'm curious if she's just like, oh, do it for the drama, or if she wants to go back to her, like, the original plan of finding Klaus.
Right.
I'm not sure. But next episode is titled Klaus.
Oh, God. It's happening.
And we're in, like, the final stretch of episodes.
I'm scared. I'm so scared.
I'm so nervous.
I've been stressed out for weeks, but I'm especially stressed out.
Mainly because this looks like a flashback of Elijah, and he has, like, longer hair, which I don't love for him personally.
Yeah, it's not really the most suited, but hey, you know.
But I'll tolerate it, I guess. We have some amazing patrons to thank. Do you want to start us off?
Absolutely. Thank you to Sean Salvatore.
Ooh, thank you to Megan Pattinson.
Ow, ow. Thank you to Katya Karp.
Ooh, thank you to Ashlyn Vogel.
Ow. Thank you to Genevieve Morgan.
Ooh, thank you to Danielle Burke.
Ow. Thank you to Janae Bennett.
Ooh, thank you to Sophia Salinger. Come on down.
Come on down. Thank you to Dan Zeklos.
Ooh, and last but certainly not least, thank you to Emily Ozera.
Ow. Pew, pew, pew.
I have a fanfiction for you that is from the author Midnight Storm 6593. It is titled Watch Me Unfold. The summary is Bonnie was just trying to keep herself together, and Damon was always off the rails one way or another. It was the beginning of a very strange friendship, and possibly even more.
Oh, God.
And this is from chapter 1. It seems like the setting is like right after Bonnie found out Caroline was a vampire.
Okay.
After what felt like an eternity, Bonnie was the first one to speak. I blame you, she whispered. I blame you for everything. What she didn't tell him, and never would, was I blame you and everyone else for everything that goes wrong, because it's so much easier than blaming myself. It's not like you really gave a damn about it anyway. I know, he told her. He still didn't look at her. She probably should have left it at that, but more words came tumbling out of her mouth before she could stop them. Elena should have let me finish torching you. Damon let out a soft scoff. Of course. Everything bad that happens around here is your fault. It always connects back to you one way or another. Mm-hmm, he hummed. He had stayed nonchalant throughout her entire tirade, and Bonnie figured that he really didn't have a conscience or a heart to care. If you had left town, or not even come back in the first place, a lot of lives wouldn't be ruined. Especially mine, she didn't add. You know, I'm curious about something, Glinda. He paused, for dramatic effect. Does projecting all your problems onto me really make you feel any better? End scene.
Oh, God.
You know when two characters just got a lot of guilt, but they just don't want to talk about it? They really don't want to talk about it?
They just for sure really.
They for sure, like, absolutely don't want to talk about it?
God damn. I hate this.
They just, listen, if they don't want me to feel a type of way,
you're right.
then
sure.
Don't have her hug someone and look at another person. Don't do it.
That just feels fair, right?
I think the problem, though, is that it's really easy to ship Damon with everybody.
Right. Yeah.
He just
has charisma with everyone. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's fine. I don't mind.
Yeah.
I don't mind it at all. I'm so nervous for the rest of this season.
Yeah.
My blood pressure is really high, but that's okay. Tell your friends about the show, as always. And as we say here in the Pacific Northwest,
get bit.
Ooh.
Ow.
Into the Twilight is an Earbud Media production. You can follow us on Twitter at Into the Twilight or on TikTok at Into the Twilight Show. You can find me at Cody Corral on Twitter and Allie at Alexandria Does. And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Into the Twilight. We have merch, so much stuff. All those links are in the episode description. And make sure to rate and review us on your favorite podcast hosting platform. It really helps the show. Thanks. Bye.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media, audio for everyone.